The information in this video comes from thorough research. Before you watch the video, what do you think about the art of sleight of hand? Does it leave you questioning what's possible? Or do you prefer knowing how the trick is done? Share your thoughts in the comments. Magic is not about tricks. It's about creating a moment of wonder and amazement. The true art of magic is about leaving people in awe, making them believe the impossible is possible. David Copperfield. Sleight of hand, trickery, or magic. Techniques of sleight of hand. Sleight of hand, as a performative art based on tricking the senses of the audience, employs specific techniques designed to deceive the viewer. These techniques can involve skilled hand movements, special tools, or even psychological tricks. Some of the most important sleight of hand techniques are misdirection. One of the most important techniques in sleight of hand is misdirection. The magician directs the viewer's attention to a different place, allowing them to perform an action in another area without the viewer noticing. Sleight of hand. This technique involves quick, skillful hand movements that allow the magician to hide or move objects without the viewer detecting the action. Use of props. Many magicians use props like hats, playing cards, ropes, or other objects to perform their tricks. These props may initially seem harmless, but they play a critical role in the tricks. History of sleight of hand and its evolution. Sleight of hand, as an ancient performative art, has deep roots in history. In ancient Egypt, magicians were seen as individuals with special powers, and many forms of sleight of hand were performed secretly in religious and royal circles. In ancient Rome, sleight of hand became a popular form of public entertainment. Over time, this art spread worldwide, and in the 19th century, with the Industrial Revolution, sleight of hand became recognized as a form of public entertainment. During this period, famous magicians like Houdini and Harry Houdini elevated the art and performed on grand stages and theaters. Famous magicians in history and their impact. Many famous magicians throughout history have had a significant impact on the development of this art. For example, Harry Houdini is one of the most famous and well-known magicians in history, who gained fame for his escape tricks involving locks and chains, solidifying his position as one of the greatest names in magic. Sleight of hand and its influence on the modern world. Today, sleight of hand remains one of the most popular forms of entertainment worldwide. From small street performances to large television shows, magicians continue to captivate audiences, creating moments of wonder and amazement. Sleight of hand has also found its place in cinema and television, particularly in films and programs that feature elements of illusion and trickery. Trickery, deception, or truth. Examining the use of trickery across cultures. Trickery is commonly used in everyday life to deceive others. In many cultures, trickery is recognized as a means of achieving something that would otherwise be impossible to obtain. This might take the form of financial, social, or even psychological tricks. In many societies, trickery is a part of folklore and stories. For example, in the stories of 1001 Nights, characters like Ali Baba and Scheherazade use trickery to overcome obstacles and problems. The use of trickery in psychological and marketing tactics. Trickery plays a prominent role in modern marketing and advertising. In fact, many marketing strategies rely on tricking the customer's senses and creating a false sense of need. The use of colors, images, and specific words can deceive a customer's mind, making them desire to purchase something they may not actually need. The role of trickery in art and performance. In modern art and performances, trickery is used to create excitement and impact the audience. From theatrical tricks to deceptive techniques in films, trickery serves as a tool to produce visual and emotional effects on viewers. Witchcraft, belief, or science. The history of witchcraft in different civilizations. Witchcraft is one of the oldest and most complex beliefs in human history, found in many cultures and civilizations. From ancient Egypt to Greece and Rome, witchcraft was regarded as one of the pillars of spiritual and religious life. In these civilizations, witches played key roles in prophecy, healing, and communicating with gods and spirits. During the medieval and Renaissance periods, witchcraft was often associated with fear and devil worship. In many countries, witches were considered a threat to society and were widely persecuted and put on trial. Witchcraft in religions and spiritual beliefs. In many religions, witchcraft is seen as forbidden or sinful. In Christianity, witchcraft is associated with communication with the devil and dark forces, with many scriptures, including the Bible, warning against witchcraft. On the other hand, in cultures such as voodoo and traditional African witchcraft, witchcraft is a part of spiritual practices and healing. In these belief systems, witches are often seen as individuals with special powers, capable of connecting with spirits and forces of nature. Trickery, sleight of hand, and witchcraft, differences and similarities. Similarities and differences between these concepts. Although sleight of hand, trickery, and witchcraft are generally seen as separate concepts, a closer examination reveals that there are several similarities and differences between them. All three, at their core, involve the manipulation of perception and the creation of illusions. Similarities. Deception of the senses. All three arts rely on deceiving the senses of the audience to create different effects. In sleight of hand, this deception is done using physical tricks. In trickery, the deception is often psychological or social. And in witchcraft, the illusion is usually based on supernatural or metaphysical beliefs. Goal of entertainment or achieving something. In all three cases, the ultimate goal is usually entertainment or achieving something that would otherwise be impossible. Whether it is a magical illusion or a social or financial benefit, each concept serves to manipulate reality in some way. Differences. Purpose. In sleight of hand, the goal is often to create amazement and wonder, and the tricks are openly performed as an art form or entertainment. Trickery, on the other hand, is more about deceiving others for personal gain, whether in everyday life or business. Witchcraft, in contrast, is more about communicating with supernatural forces to achieve goals beyond human capabilities. Nature. While sleight of hand usually depends on physical skill and manipulation, trickery often relies on psychological and social manipulation. Witchcraft is specifically associated with spiritual or metaphysical practices and is usually viewed as a supernatural art. Cultural and social impacts of these arts. Sleight of hand, trickery, and witchcraft have all had varying impacts on human societies throughout history. These impacts differ depending on the cultural and social context of each period. Sleight of hand has generally had positive cultural effects, as it is viewed as a form of entertainment and artistic expression. In modern societies, it is recognized as a fun and magical form of amusement that continues to captivate people's attention. Trickery may have negative connotations in some cultures, as it is often associated with deceit and dishonesty. In other cultures, however, trickery may be seen as a legitimate means to overcome obstacles or gain advantage in specific situations. Witchcraft has had complex cultural impacts, especially in ancient times. In many societies, witches were revered as individuals with deep connections to nature or the divine. In Western cultures, witchcraft has been historically associated with fear, persecution, and the darker side of spirituality. Sleight of hand and witchcraft in different cultures. Exploring different cultures and their perception of sleight of hand and witchcraft. Sleight of hand and witchcraft are viewed differently across cultures around the world. In some societies, these concepts are accepted as natural parts of human life, while in others, particularly religious communities, they may be feared or rejected. In Western cultures, sleight of hand is widely accepted as a form of entertaining performance art. Magic shows, often performed in theaters and on television, remain hugely popular. However, witchcraft has traditionally been associated with dark forces, and witches were historically persecuted, particularly during the medieval and Renaissance periods. In some Eastern cultures, such as China and India, witchcraft is considered a part of spiritual practices and meditation. Witches in these cultures are often seen as individuals with special connections to nature and the spirit world. Sleight of hand also plays a role in these societies, often in the form of public performances or ceremonial rituals. In many African cultures, witchcraft is a part of spiritual healing practices. Witches in these societies are often believed to have powers to heal illnesses, break curses, or predict the future. Sleight of hand also appears in certain traditional performances. A final analysis of sleight of hand, trickery, and witchcraft. Sleight of hand, trickery, and witchcraft have each played important roles in the history of human culture. Sleight of hand is recognized as a performative art aimed at creating wonder and amazement. Trickery is often used as a means of deception for personal gain, whether in social or business contexts. Witchcraft, on the other hand, is viewed as a spiritual practice, connecting humans with supernatural forces to achieve goals beyond human ability. Despite the differences between these three concepts, they all share the common trait of manipulating reality in some way, whether through physical skill, psychological influence, or supernatural means. Their impact on various societies and cultures has been significant, with each being viewed differently depending on the cultural and historical context. Thank you for joining me on this journey. If you have any experiences related to this topic, be sure to share them with us. Until the next episode, be mindful of the energies around you